every sense. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. No, there have been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
As 2016 draws near, so does the presidential election. Let God be your guide to lead you to the right decision. Don't rely on others' opinions. Use your opinion and choose the right president for 2016 to lead our country.
Looking for a personal injury attorney? Look no further than Columbia, Louisiana. W. Mark McKee specializes in personal injury cases. He is located at 7134 Highway 165 in Columbia, Louisiana. Tell Mark you heard it right here on the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. You may also contact Mark at 318-649-2622. That number again, 318-649-2622. Contact him today. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. We are honored to have you as a guest tonight and want to thank each of you for your faithful support. Without further delay, allow me to introduce to you Mr. Baron Glass. Mr. Glass, take it away.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass, the Smoking Glass Hour talk show on WMAD 24-hour global radio. On Thursday nights, we're talking local politics at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I have a question for you that's out there listening right now. Are you tired of the same old lies from the same old people every year, every day, every hour? Do you live in a geographical area where there's no political discussion worthwhile listening to? Well, let me tell you this. I am here to inform you that the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass is trying to provide a progressive conversation with a diverse group of people who are trying to make a difference in their community. I ask each and every night, each and every day, that you join the conversation, and please tell your friends, your family, and your colleagues that the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass is talking about local and state politics each and every Thursday night. Now, you can download the app, or you can listen live on your computer. You can listen even on your smartphone or your tablet by going to www.simplythesmokingglasshour.com. And all you have to do is click on the link, and you can be a part of the progressive conversation. Now, tonight we're going to talk about the local sheriff race, the clerk of court race, the local state races. And we're going to talk about the announced candidates thus far. Now, up until now, I have provided free advertising that nobody on this planet is doing for any candidate, and I have tried to do it for all candidates by giving them the opportunity to provide me some valuable information about themselves that they would like for other people outside to listen. But before we go into that, let me just tell you. Now, the listening audience that's out there right now is Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana, Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, St. Martinville, Louisiana, Ville Platte, Louisiana, Opelousas, Louisiana. We got Dale Summers out there in Lake Charles, Louisiana, tuned in right now. We got Mamou listening in right now. We got Alexandria Pineville. We got Mr. Larry Bell and his entire family, as well as all of those individuals that Larry's come in contact with out there in Montgomery, Louisiana. We got a little 8th grader that's out there listening right now, Mr. Scotland Lewis from Winfield, Louisiana. We got Jonesboro Hodge, Jonesboro, Louisiana, Tyann Sly, and the entire Bryant family that's out there connected. We got Ruston. We got Monroe. We got Winsboro. We got Delhi. We got Strop City, better known as Bastrop, Louisiana. We got Shreveport. We got Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts to be exact. We got Ann Friedman out there listening. We got Georgia out there listening. We got Arizona, Susan out there listening. California, Hollywood, got Dr. Sally Broder that's out there hopefully listening. We got Jamestown, Kentucky, Ann Cash that's out there listening. We got Arkansas. We got Ontario, Cameron list. We got Sean Gales from Too Short. We got Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. Corey Jackson. We got Texas, Pastor A.F. Riggins, senior pastor, founder, Real Life Church out of Houston, Texas. North Dakota, we got Miss Catherine out there listening. North Carolina, Dr. Riley Bratton. South Carolina, Jams Vibe Radio is carrying us live each and every Tuesday night. We got Real Life Broadcast carrying us out of the state of Texas by way of Houston. And of course, last but not least, we got Columbia, Louisiana, Caldwell Parish represented deep right now. To my understanding, Veronica Salvato is out there listening. Miss Veronica, I haven't seen you in a while, so good afternoon to you. I hope everything is going okay. We wish you the best of luck in your endeavors now that you're no longer working with me. So I'm glad that you tuned in because I know that you have a little expertise in mental health. So we're going to ask that if you want to get in and join us right now, you can go directly to the Smoking Glass Hour, click right on the live show, and you can chat with us live. We got candidate Clay Bennett that's out there. We got candidate Mitch Bratton that's out there. I'm also thinking we got Mr. David Crane possibly. And I'm not Facebook friends with all the other candidates. So if your name has failed to be mentioned, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I don't have any way of accessing with you. And I'm not going to do this. I've told you guys from the beginning to the end, we broadcast each and every Thursday night. You can follow the Facebook post. So I'm not going to be responsible for spoon feeding anybody. However, I want to make sure that when you do your advertising, I want to thank Clay Bennett for reaching out to us today. And I hope you guys heard the commercial coming in at the outset. Each one of you guys that advertise, your commercial will come out at the outset. It will come out again in 15 minutes. It'll come out again in 30 minutes. It'll come out again in 45 minutes, and we'll close the show with it. So you'll get 4 live broadcasts along with me saying thanks for the candidate of whoever it may be for advertising and allowing us to put your message out there on the Smoking Glass Hour right there. And I ran those individual places down so you can understand that people are out there listening. I had an opportunity to talk with one of the candidates. Mitch, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's your wife. And that's my first time being able to talk with her. early, because I always try to dine in at Main Street Seafood, try to get something on my stomach so I can hold myself until the broadcast is over. But nevertheless, I had a chance to talk with her, and she had some very interesting comments. She has some very interesting concerns, and her and I were able to talk. So, Mitch, I must say this. I think she probably should be running for sheriff than you. That's just a joke, inside joke. Mitch, I know you understand. I'm just out there playing. Good luck to each and every one of you guys that's out there running for office. Now, we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Google+. We're on Pinterest. We're on LinkedIn. We're on blog. We have the WordPress blog. We're on Instagram. We're out there everywhere. We're on Hootsuite. We're posting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because not only am I posting, have an administrator that's posting when I'm not available to post. So your message can and will get out to the people. Can we guarantee a win? No, we're not doing any of that. But what we are saying is this: you can't go nowhere on this planet and get the offer that we have offered to each one of you guys. And by the way, my administrator did check today, and each and every one of you who provided me your email address, we did get it confirmed that each individual did receive an email from the Smoking Glass Hour at gmail.com. Now, whether it went to your bulk mail or your whatever you want to call it, we're not sure of that, but we did send it out. Some did link in with us and some didn't. Nevertheless, hey, we're on the move in 2015. We're trying to put out the message. We're talking local and state politics and guns and mental health tonight. But before we go any further, we want to talk about the governor's race, lieutenant governor's race, secretary of state, attorney general, the treasurer's race, the commissioner of agriculture and forestry, commissioner of insurance, the Bessie Board, District 5, state senator, 32nd district, state representative, 20th representative district. We got the sheriff race. And for the sheriff race, we have Mr. Clay Bennett running for sheriff. We have Mr. Mitch Bratton running for sheriff. We have Mr. Courtney Dunn running for sheriff. We have Hank Balls, David Crane, and last but not least, Mr. Tony Childers running for sheriff. We have the assessor's race, the clerk of court race. Running for clerk of court, we have Miss Dina Domain, Mr. David May, Miss Lauren Rogers Young, Miss Cherie Cox, Mr. Greg Richardson. When we look down, we got the assessor's race. We have the coroner's race. Well, police juror race, District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and that is all throughout the state of Louisiana. Also, we have a position now open for the superintendent of schools for the Collier Parish school system, where we have 3 elementary schools, a preschool, we have a Head Start, we have a junior high, and we have a high school. So if you're out there listening, you know anybody that's out there who may be interested in applying for the job, they may do so by contacting the Collier Parish School Board and or Dr. John Robertson, the Collier Parish School Board president. So I'll tell you what, we have a lot that's going on. And once again, we want to make sure that everybody understands. I got a chance to talk with Clay. And I was mentioning to Clay the other day that people are really interested in this upcoming election, specifically the black community. Now, I've had the opportunity to talk at length with those from the black community. Why? Because they have been asking question after question after question after question. And they want to know what is going on, how they can make an impact in this particular race, and they want to make sure that their vote is counted. So if you are out there listening, and if you're not out there listening, you come back and listen to the archive. And that's what's so good about this, candidate. Not only will you hear this live, you can hear this through the archive from here on out. You can even post it to your Facebook page. You can even message it to somebody from another part of the parish. You can even email it to them. You can do whatever you want to do because it's in MP3 format, which can be played while a person is driving a tractor, while a person is out there hunting, put the earphones on, while they're going on a trip, while they may be at a boring football game, or while they may be out there mowing the lawn. They can listen to your broadcast. They can listen to your live interview, and they can make their chance. Now, ask yourself this question. Where else can I go and specifically be talked about myself? You can't do it on KNOE TV. You can't do it on 100.1 The Beat. You can't do it on 88.1. You can, but it's going to be way out of reach. So we'll specifically focus on local and state politics. Now, We're not going to get rich off of doing this, but we are providing a service, and the service is 100% valuable. But back to the conversation. I was talking to Clay, and we had a good conversation. And people are really engaged, as I said, and they want to know what is it that they can do. What is it that they can do about the upcoming election? They want to know, well, what is it that I can do? How can I go about helping out? How do I get involved? In each broadcast, we are provided some information. But what I'm going to do right now, we're looking at about 16 minutes into the broadcast. I'm going to pause and take a brief commercial. I'll be right back.
Looking for a personal injury attorney? Look no further than Columbia, Louisiana. W. Mark McKee specializes in personal injury cases. He is located at 7134 Highway 165 in Columbia, Louisiana. Tell Mark you heard it right here on the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. You may also contact Mark at 318-649-2622. That number again, 318-649-2622. Contact him today.
You know, a lot of people talk the talk without walking the walk. At the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass, we make an attempt daily to make a difference in the lives of others. Our broadcasts are to inform some and remind others about things going on in this world. The topic may be uncomfortable to you, but if you don't talk about it, how can we move forward? Why don't you join us each and every day right here on Spreaker.com or thesmokingglasshour.com. Let your voice be heard. We are on the move in 2015. And by the way, don't forget to like and follow us on Spreaker.com. We are back broadcasting live with the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. Tonight's topic, state and local politics and guns and mental health. Now, what I want to make sure is that everybody understands, when you decide to vote, make sure you're voting for the person of your choice and not the person of somebody else's choice. Because judge a person based off of what you see, not what somebody tells you or what you may have heard or what you may think. That is not fair to the candidate. Why? Because some of these guys, as a matter of fact, all of these guys, including myself, when you give yourself up to public service, you put yourself out into the line of fire. You put yourself out in the middle of a pack of wolves. You put yourself out in a pack of hungry sharks. Why? Because everybody always attacks you. Everybody always can tell you what you're doing bad, but nobody can tell you when you're doing good. See, it's better to encourage rather than to discourage. So when you see these guys out there walking the beat, knocking on your doors, doing this and doing it. Because see, some people are saying, well, such and such told me to vote for such and such. Well, when they tell me that, I ask them this: do you have shackles on your feet? Are you a slave? Now, it's 2015. You have the right and the authority to make up your own mind and vote for whoever it is that you want to vote for. Yes, tell them the Smoking Glass Hour said, because no one should be able to control who you vote for, not even me. So when I talk to an individual or when somebody asks me about a personal candidate, I'll tell them basically what I know about the candidate. I don't tell them to vote for them. I don't tell them not to vote for them, because whoever you vote for is your own personal choice. Now, what bothers me is that why are people worried about who Johnny's voting for or who Danny is voting for, or better yet, who Baron Glass is voting for? I vote for the candidate of my choice, and I advise you to vote for the candidate of your choice. Once again, these guys are out there trying their best, and nobody out there is perfect. Somebody has made a mistake. We all have made a mistake. Whether it's in the past or whether it was yesterday, we still have made a mistake. But Romans 3:23 tells us that we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So rather than judge somebody that you're looking at, look in the mirror and judge the person that you see, and that way we all can get along. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, we're on the move in 2015. Now, we want to talk about some of the things that are going on. When we look at local politics, we know, And the question is, why must I vote in a local election? Why should you not vote in a local election? Because you are much more likely to spot your local town's school board member, your local police juror, your local sheriff, your local clerk of court, your local tax assessor, your local mayor at the grocery store more likely than you will ever see the president of the United States, the United States senator, the United States congressman, the state senator, and the state congressman. Now, should they avoid you? No, they shouldn't. And if they do, then that's a person that you probably should not consider, because they ran for office. You gave them the job, and they should acknowledge the fact that you are in that person. Now, you have to give room for moving around. You have to give room for mobility, because sometimes people are so busy to where they can't get to you right then, but they can get to you. Now, here's a question. If a pothole develops on your street, do you think it will be the president, the United States Congress, the United States Senate, the state representative, the state senator? Who do you think would be the person to fix that local pothole in your street? You would probably call your local police juror to get it fixed. So that is why you should get involved in local aid. That's one of the reasons. Yes, Wendell Thomas, thank you for listening in out there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Wendell is one of those truck drivers that's always tuned in and always posting inspirational messages from Jesus, God himself, every day, trying to encourage people to do better, trying to encourage people when they're down, trying to lift people up when they are down. Now, as I said, who would be the person that would be more responsible for your pothole? The police juror. So that's one reason why you should be involved in your local election. If that don't entice you to vote, then continue to have potholes in your road. Continue to go and have flats fixed. Continue to go and have your wheel allowed. Now, because you go and complain to these people, does not mean that it's going to get fixed right away. But at least you are part of the process. Because guess what? Your vote does count. The candidate knows that your vote counts. But hindsight, most of the time, these millennials, for whatever reason, they don't think that their vote really counts. So I'm asking each candidate that's out there now, when you cross one of these youngsters that is getting registered to vote, would you please tell them, even if you don't vote for me, go out and do it for yourself. Go out and do it for your kids, even if you don't have any now. You might in the future. And it may be because you decided to get involved. Now, when we have a traffic accident that happens in your local town, your local parish, or your local county, if you're outside of the state of Louisiana, an officer of the local sheriff's office will probably be the first responder on the scene. Now, why would you want to get involved in the local sheriff election? Well, I just told you, if you have an accident, the local sheriff's office or the local chief of police will be the one who will more than likely work the accident. Now, if we look at parents, when you put your child on the school bus in the morning so they can go to the local public schools, and when you have a problem, who do you think you are supposed to call? Well, why should you get involved? Because your local school board member can legislate for you. Your local superintendent can legislate for you. Your local individual body that's elected can pick up the phone and call, say, listen, I have an incident that's going on. Can you check into it? Now, you will never be able to get a call in through the United States Senator unless you go through somebody. You definitely would not get a call in to the vice president or the president of the United States. So why would you not get involved in state and local politics? Because, see, when we look at October the 24th, which is the election, and qualifying is September the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which is right around the corner. We will have elections going on. And as I told you, it will be from the governor's race on to the lieutenant governor, to the state senator, state representative, police juror, sheriff, clerk of court, and several other races that you will see on the ballot. Now, the police juror that votes for or against resolutions that approves the budget for the public works department that's local. The candidate for sheriff that oversees the police department that help fight drugs and protect and serve. Again, local elections are important to your day and your day-to-day life. So why would you not get involved? I know you're out there listening, Mitch Bratton. I know you're out there listening, Clay Bennett, and I'm glad that you're listening. And I'm hoping that these broadcasts will help inspire you guys to go out and seek those who are asking for those who need to vote. David Crane, Courtney Dunn, Tony Childers, anybody else that's out of David May, Dina Domain, Cherie Cox, Lauren Rogers, Greg Richard, all of you guys, you are commissioned to go out and ask for vote. And if you're out there and you're running around, take it for granted that you don't go to the black community, or you don't go to the north side of town, or you don't go to the south side of town, well, you're making a mistake, because guess what? We are talking every day. As I'm talking now, people are messaging me. People are messaging me questions that they would like to ask. As a matter of fact, one individual asked, well, how can we get all these guys to get together and debate? I said, well, that's coming. Because I believe the local Masonic Lodge, because I've always done it for the last 2 or 3 times, but the local Masonic Lodge wanted to get involved, so they will be having a meet and greet, a political forum, so these candidates can come out and be asked questions, moderated by yours truly. And these individual candidates that I'm talking about, Clay Bennett, Mitch Bratton, Courtney Dunn, Hank Balls, David Crane, Tony Childers, David May, Lauren Young, Cherie Cox, Greg Richardson, Dina Domain, and anybody else that's out there running for office, you have the opportunity to come and sit directly with me on the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass, and we will have a candid conversation at your choice for an hour or 2. It's up to you. Now, the question was asked to me, are you going to do the question? I say, well, I'm not sure I should be the ones to ask the question. I think the voters should be the ones to pick up the phone and call in and ask questions of each individual candidate. Now, if I go with that format, I'm not going to allow anybody to be put on the spot with some negativity, because Jesus is not of negativity. That's for the devil and those who have those demonic spirits or those demons that are out there. We're not going to play. We're going to talk about the election itself. What is it that you're going to do different that has not been done different? Who is your chief deputy? Now, if you're not going to answer that question, to my understanding, with some voters, you might just have a problem. And I'm telling you what have been told to me by at least 50 to 100 people. Because once again, remember, every Saturday and Sunday, there's activity at my barn. And guess what? These guys are talking on a daily basis. So when we look for understanding, we must first understand ourselves. And if you can't understand yourself, then guess what? You may have a problem. Now, local elections, as I have stated, local governmental elections are important for the health and the democracy in our country, in our state, on down to our parish. Now, these elections, like I have said before, enable ordinary citizens like you and I to become responsible for the financial and the administrative affairs of the area in which you live. By taking these important posts and responsibilities that you have, local people can feel that they are an integral part of the system, so their stake in the system increases. Now, why do you think that the Smoking Glass Hour has been putting out? Our message is clear. Our goal is to make a difference. Our goal is to allow you who have never been a part of the system to play an integral part of the system, so your stake in the system increases, your value increases. I read a Facebook post the other day where a lady was talking about they hadn't been spoken to by anybody. And then all of a sudden, because, and I don't know who it was, because somebody was running for office, they decided to speak. Well, guess what, people? People do remember what you didn't do versus what you're trying to do. So you may want to try to do it a little bit different. What we're going to do right now, once again, we're going to pause for a brief commercial, and I'll be right back.
Hey Mo,
Yes, Lou?
I think younger kids need to know the value of sacrifice.
Yes, I agree. There is one place they can learn about sacrifice. If they tune in on WMAD and the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass on Monday nights, they can learn. It's informative with current topics. And by the way, the show is hot.
The show is smoking hot.
Looking for a personal injury attorney? Look no further than Columbia, Louisiana. W. Mark McKee specializes in personal injury cases. He is located at 7134 Highway 165 in Columbia, Louisiana. Tell Mark you heard it right here on the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. You may also contact Mark at 318-649-2622. That number again, 318-649-2622. Contact him today.
We are back broadcasting live with the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. Tonight we're talking state and local politics. We're going to move on into gun and mental health. But what I want to make sure is this, is that anyone who can vote for their local elected official should remember the candidates they choose will be making the vital decisions about their streets, about who controls drugs, how drugs are enforced, how the laws enforced, and the local economy. If you think about what government provides on a day-to-day basis to you and your family, look at the school system. Look at your local water supply. Look at your local sewage disposal. Look at your local public health and hospitals. Look at the restaurants, the surveyors. Look at the fire. Look at the police. These things are mostly provided by your local government. So why should I get involved in local election? Why should I get involved in local election? The president and the Congress and their policies have the potential to affect the micro direction of the economy for this country. And that affects people's lives in a big way. When we look at the system as a whole, I think personally that local government is more likely to impact the quality of your life, what the neighborhood looks like, and the things that happen in your neighborhood, how drugs are enforced, how things are done, how liberty and justice for all is rendered. So when you talk about state and local politics, this is why you should get involved. And if you choose not to get involved, you can blame nobody but yourself. You can blame nobody but yourself. Once again, for local races, we have the clerk of court race. We have Miss Lauren Rogers Young. We have Miss Cherie Cox. We have Mr. Greg Richardson. We have Miss Dina Domain. We have Mr. David May. On the sheriff election, we have Mr. Clay Bennett. We have Mr. Tony Childers. We have Mr. David Crane. We have Mr. Mitch Bratton. We have Mr. Courtney Dunn. And we have Mr. Hank Boyce. Now, before anybody who's listening, because I did this before, because these names are called in a certain order, in no way, shape, form, or fashion does it offer a support or any opposition. I'm reading it the way that I have it, and it was the way that it was given to me. And I switch them up each and every broadcast simply because of how narrow-minded some people can be, how narrow-minded some people choose to be, because we know at the end of the day, when the smoke clears and the dust settles, it all boils down to who goes out and vote. Once again, we're talking state and local politics. And because we're talking state and local politics, I have given you several reasons as to why you should get involved in your local election. Why you should get involved in your local election. Now, some have been asking all types of questions. Why are you running for office? Why should we vote for you? We need a sheriff that's not afraid to be the first to walk in on a situation and not send their men in. The drug problem has been real here for many years. What will you do to lessen this problem under your 4-year term? Or will it be the same old deal making as it has been for many years? These are some of the questions that have been submitted to me. Will kids all over our community be treated on a higher level than others due to whom they are kin to? Or will it be favoritism shown, or so forth and so on? I have a list of at least 150 questions that have been submitted to me by individuals throughout these broadcasts and while they see me on the street, or guess what? There are some other people that's working behind the scenes who have people emailing them information. So once again, why we must get involved in local election? Let me flip this over. Why should the candidates get involved with the voter? Why shouldn't the candidate assume that he or she shouldn't have to go to a certain area? Andon Heights is just as important as anywhere across the river. Columbia Gardens is anywhere just as important as anywhere in the parish. So my point is this: you need to get out there. I'm not telling you from a command standpoint. It's a request. It's a simple professional courtesy. Get out there and meet all the voters. And when you do that, here's what can happen. When you get out there and allow the voter to take a role and become an integral part, when you take your part and do what you're supposed to do, here's the one thing that you can do. You can change the world. And we're going to play a song by Mr. Eric Clapton called Change the World, 3 minutes and 54 seconds, and I'll be right back.
If I can reach the stars, pull one down for you, shine it on my heart, so you could see the truth. And this love I have inside is everything it seems. But for now I find it's only in my dreams that I can change the world. I'll be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good. Baby, if I could change the the world.
Hello, this is Baron Glass, host of the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass on the all-new #1 global radio station, WMAD. Before I do my live broadcasting, I always dine in at the all-new Main Street Seafood Restaurant located in downtown Columbia, Louisiana, owned and operated by Miss Brett. Check them out. I did.
Looking for a personal injury attorney? Look no further than Columbia, Louisiana. W. Mark McKee specializes in personal injury cases. He is located at 7134 Highway 165 in Columbia, Louisiana. Tell Mark you heard it right here on the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. You may also contact Mark at 318-649-2622. That number again, 318-649-2622. Contact him today.
We are back broadcasting live with the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. Tonight, we're talking local and state politics along with guns and mental health. Now, every year, about 42.5 million American adults, or about 18.2% of the total adult population in the United States, they suffer from some mental illness, enduring conditions such as depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. Statistics released already that show that a lot of people in this country are suffering from mental health. The data that has been compiled by SAMHSA, which is known as the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, indicates that approximately 9.3 million adults, or about 4% of the American ages 18 and up, experience some type of serious mental illness. That is the condition that impedes on the day-to-day activities such as going to work. Now, these are real people that have very serious problems. The data should be helping people to think that really there's a problem, but more importantly, should be thinking how we want to approach helping these people with services that they need. So if we look at 42.5 million American adults, or 18.2%, and we hover on down to about 9.3 million adults, or 4% of those average age of 18 and up, who experience serious mental health issues. And these conditions impede on the simple basic things like going to work. The question is, how do we want to approach helping them get the services that they need? More importantly, these people that we're talking about, should they be rightful owners of a gun without going through strict enforcement before they can actually receive a gun? Now, make sure nobody get it twisted, because we are not talking about taking away anybody's Second Amendment rights. What we're doing is having a casual conversation, because most people are afraid to talk about issues that creates controversy, that's hard, that takes people to sit down at the table and talk about things from an objective point of view and take the emotions out and deal with the realistic aspects of this. So that's what we do here at the Smoking Glass Hour. We talk about racism. We talk about gays and lesbians. We talk about homosexuality. We talk about everything under the sun. And guess what? We're not afraid, because we just want to engage people in a casual conversation. So at the end of the day, somebody can walk away with an understanding that they didn't have before they sat down at the table. Now, once again, people with serious mental illnesses, let's take schizophrenia, do have a slightly higher risk of committing violence than members of the general population, and that should be automatically understood. When we look at the facts most violence is not attributable to mental illness. People with serious mental illnesses are 3 to 4 times more likely to be violent than those who aren't. But when we look at the vast majority of people with mental illnesses, they are not violent and never will be. Most violence in society is caused by other things. So the question is this: is there a link between guns and mental health? Some say yes, some say no. Some say there's not enough evidence and facts out there to back it up one way or the other. So we know that this is something that is still going on, which is why we need to continue to talk about it. Even if we had a perfect mental health system, that is not going to solve the gun violence problem. If we were able to magically cure schizophrenia all of a sudden, bipolar disorder all of a sudden, and major depressions all of a sudden, that would be wonderful in all of our eyes. But overall violence would go down by only about 4%. Federal law prohibits people who have been involuntarily committed to a mental institution from owning guns. Is that targeting the right people would be the question. The criteria that both over-inclusive and under-inclusive at the same time. They capture a lot of people, we know that, who are really at risk, and at least not anymore once they go through this. Now, when we look at an instance, if you think about somebody who had a suicidal mental health crisis, let's look back maybe 25 years ago, who was involuntarily hospitalized, but now they have recovered and they are doing fine. They hadn't had problems in many, many years. They want to get a job as a security guard, and they can't because they cannot possess a firearm. So the question is that fair or is it not fair? When we look at under-inclusive things, because think about someone who's in the middle of their first episode of psychosis but has not been treated yet. This might be serious in some aspect, but when we look at dangerous mental health crisis, a person with paranoid delusions, believing that everyone else is out to get them, isolated, maybe drinking heavily, but when you look at it, he is not disqualified from going and purchasing any number of guns. So the question is this: does guns and mental health have any correlation between the two? Some say yes, some say no. Some say not enough evidence that's out there. Then when we look, there's another problem. Even if someone has a record of serious mental illnesses, these records might not actually make it to the background check system. In one study, when we look at all of these things, they found that adding more mental health records to the background check can prevent some violence, but only a small amount. I think it was the state, I believe, of Connecticut that provided a natural experience back prior to 2007. They didn't report mental health records to the, I believe it was the National Instant Criminal Background Check System for some time. The criteria for involuntary commitment are intertwined with dangerous and violence. Before Connecticut, once again, began reporting mental health records to the background check system, people who had involuntarily committed a higher likelihood month by month of committing violence. After the period when the gun provisions were enforced, the difference went away. About 53% drop in the likelihood of committing a violent crime. So when we look at all of this stuff, blocking people with serious mental illnesses from buying guns, it worked. But it didn't have a huge impact. adding to the mental health record, only prevented an estimated 14 violent crimes a year, or less than 0.5% of the state's overall violent crime. The question is, why is that? Why is that? The people who were actually disqualified from buying guns were only 7% of the studied population of people with serious mental illnesses, and only a very, very small proportion of people at risk engaging in violent crimes. So it's like if you had a vaccine that was going to work against a particular public health epidemic, but only 7% of the people got the vaccine, it might work good for them, but it's not good to affect the epidemic. That's one of the debates that's out there right now. It is not just that the mental illness represent a minority of the country's population. It is also that the overlap between mental illness and violent behavior is poor. When we look and we find that although people with certain types of psychotic illnesses are more likely than the general public to commit violent acts, the rate of violence in that group is still very small. A large international study at one time, it found that among people with schizophrenia, a disease with the highest rate of violent behavior, only one person in 140,000 would kill a stranger. Demographic factors such as age, gender, and race are almost as reliable as predictors of violence. So once again, guns and mental health. Is there a direct correlation between the two? When mental health professionals become more skilled at predicting which patients may commit a violent act, the accuracy of such judgment is still only slightly better than chance. And that was done by a study at the University of Virginia whose focus was on the science of violent prediction. Mental health professionals we know who forecast violence are wrong 2 out of 3 times, 75%. Imagine if another medical screening test was as poor. Let's say if mammograms show false positive twice as often as real cancers. To predict something as rare as a mass shooting is like trying to find a very small needle in a haystack. Now, when we look at this from a holistic approach, when we look at this from a country, when we look at this from human beings, when we look at this from those who are getting involved in the political process, it is undeniable that persons who have shown violent tendencies should not have access to weapons that could be used to harm themselves and others. Notion that mental illnesses cause any particular shootings or that advanced psychiatric attention might prevent these crimes are more complicated than they often seem by those in a mental health profession, those who are making policy. But because it is complicated, does that mean you should automatically discount the two? Does that mean you should not be able and willing to sit down at the table and talk about the correlation, the differences, the similarities, or whatever the case may be, to try to find something that's workable for the majority? Mass shootings, we know, they only represent national awakening and moments when seeing political and social adversaries might come together to find some kind of common ground. Whether guns are allowed, regulated, or banned. Doing so with all of this means recognizing that gun crimes, mental illnesses, social networks, and gun access issues are complexly interrelated and not reducible simple to cause and effect. When we look at all of this as one, when we try to continue to find the end of the road, ultimately the ways that our society framed these connections reveal as much about our particular cultural policies, our particular biases, and our particular blind spots as it does about the acts of lone and obviously troubled individuals. We've been talking tonight about state and local politics, guns and mental health. Regardless as to what side of the fence you stand on, you should at least be willing to sit down and talk to somebody, because you might find something out that you otherwise did not know. You might find out something that you otherwise did not know. Once again, it is undeniable that persons who have shown violent tendencies should not have access to weapons that could be used to harm themselves and to others. Once again, you've been listening to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass on state and local politics, and tonight, guns and mental health. Wanted to make sure that we understand that the election is October the 24th, 2015. Want you also to understand that qualifying dates are September the 8th, 9th, and 10th. Candidates for sheriff in Caldwell Parish, we have Clay Bennett, we have Tony Childers, we have Courtney Dunn, we have Mitch Bratton, we have Hank Balls, and we have David Crane. Candidate for clerk of court, we have Lauren Young, we have Greg Richardson, we have Cherie Cox, we have Lauren Young, and we have, of course, Dina Doman. We're going to pause for a brief commercial, and we'll be right back.
Looking for a personal injury attorney? Look no further than Columbia, Louisiana. W. Mark McKee specializes in personal injury cases. He is located at 7134 Highway 165 in Columbia, Louisiana. Tell Mark you heard it right here on the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. You may also contact Mark at 318-649-2622. That number again, 318-649-2622. Contact him today.
You know, people always ask me why I do what I do. It was the teaching of my mother who taught me how to be strong and never waver when it comes to what I believe in as a man. She taught me that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Here at WMAD Radio, the goal is to stand for something and make a difference in the world while I still have that chance. Thanks to my mother for all she has done for me. Join the WMAD team where we can make a difference in the world today. We are back broadcasting live with the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Our message is clear. Our goal is to make a difference. Our goal is to reach out. Our goal is to get up and get out from among the four walls and go out and talk to all of those who are out there and tell a neighbor, tell a friend that we are on the move in 2015. Once again, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Google+. You can find us on Pinterest. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on the WordPress blog. You can find us on Instagram and all of those other social media outlets that's out there. Our message is clear. At least we do have a message. The message that we have might be disagreed among other individuals, but at least we are part of the integral process. At least we are playing a role in shaping the future of our kids and our kids' kids. Our message, once again, is clear. The Smoking Glass Hour talk show, talking local politics each and every Thursday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to close this thing out. I'll open it up with a little Sam Cooke, the original version. I'm going to close it out with Sam Cooke, A Change Is Going to Come, by various artists sung by the Reverend Al Green. Stay tuned and have a great night.
Somebody say yeah. Say it again, say yeah. Somebody say yeah for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You look good out there, baby. since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Look here. It's been too hard living, and I'm afraid to die. Look here. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long, I wish I could come out there where you are, baby. A long time coming, but I know, look at here, a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Look at here. Let me say one more thing. I go to the movie and I go downtown. But all I can hear is somebody keep telling me, oh boy, don't hang around. It's been a long. If anybody know what I'm talking about, let me see you wave your hand. I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. But I've got to take my time and say this, look. Then I go to my brother. Yes, sir. And I tell him, I said, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me. He knocks me back down on my. Somebody say, yeah, I can last long. I know I'm able to carry on. It's been a long, good God Almighty, a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Look at here. One more time. Look. But then I go to my brother. Somebody take your hand back and forth like this. Everybody. You sitting in the first balcony too. Help me, please. All over the auditorium tonight. All over the. Hallelujah. But he winds up